It's time to get back to school, everyone, unless you're American or from most other countries, in which case you're already back at school. I want to do this art challenge, but there is no consistent back to school time where everyone in the world is going back to school, so screw it. I'm doing it for Australians, and I wanted to go shopping to school stationery. G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Draw with Jazza. I'm Jazza, and today I'm going to be doing a back to school art supply challenge where I only use materials that one might have in a pencil case at school, or at least the stuff I usually had in my pencil case back when I was a kid. I'm still kind of a kid. So let's do a bit of a stationery tour. We have some Bic Kids pencils, nice and affordable. We've got some Papermate pencils. None of this is sponsored, by the way. I always had these. I don't know if this is a thing in America or anything. It probably is. We called them connector pens. Oh, that's because they're called connector pens. And I used to use these and build like guns and stuff. Ready? I'm a bit out of practice, but I'll do my best. I felt like such a badass. And you could use like a lid and like and make like a scope like that, and you'd be like, and you could go, I miss school. I didn't do any work, but I made lots of guns. What else we got? We got some basic pens. This is all just the fairly cheap stuff that, you know, you get at the start of the school year as a kid that's supposed to last you 6 years and you sort of lose or break in the first 6 months. I thought it would be fun to compile all this, put it in a little pencil case, and that could be our art supply case for this video. So we've got some erasers. By the way, while we're showing stationery tricks, this was the fate of most of my erasers. In like, I don't know, some sort of art class or shop class where they have these under adult supervision, I'm setting a really bad example to a lot of children. I swear we'll get to the content soon. I just haven't done this in a long time. There's my lid. I put a pretty deep cut in there. That's because what I want to do now is this. You ready? Carefully draw a square. Oh, it's working. Pull it out. Come on. Oh yeah, baby. Here comes a little box. Oh, I'm an adult. Now what you do is you get your pen like this and you draw a little dude. Kids, don't try this at home. Try it at school with adult supervision, but preferably when the teacher's not watching. I know what you're thinking, Jazza, get to the content of the video. Don't rush me, this is important too, okay? Okay, look at this. Perfectly carved. Now we have a neatly carved little man. We can add our details. Little mouth, little eyes. Oh, let's give him a shirt. Oh, there we go, he's just nicely dressed. And look, he's dead! Cause it's like a coffin. I was a disturbed child. Before we get into the really ambitious and epic art stuff, you can ruin your own school art supplies by making little projects out of them too. Your parents will love you for it. Point is, we've got some art supplies and we've got a pencil case and a book. Oh, I can put my name in the pencil case. All right, you ready? There's no other Z. There's only one Z. Oh no! What do I do? I'm gonna have to use an S, I guess. Pencil case is property of Jazza. Wait. N is a Z sideways. Aha! Almost perfect. Now we can finally continue and get on with the content of this goddamn video. The supermarket didn't have any glue sticks, and I suppose in my memories of high school and primary school, they were always dried out and not usable anyway. So I got this. The illustrious Clag. We have our Jazza pencil case ready for school. We have our notebook with loose leaf holes, just like we used to. And then we have our Clag. I don't know if you guys call it Clag in America or in the UK. I don't know. It sounds particularly Aussie to me because I grew up with everyone calling it Clag. Can you pass the Clag? Oh my god, look at this stuff. Oh, it's just as disgusting as I remember it. We have our materials. I have no idea how I'm going to use them, but we're going to just see what the uses of these materials are, and then I'm going to plan a piece. What follows is a pretty simple process of trying everything out. Starting off with the paper and the Clag, cutting it up into a few little bits and sticking it to itself and just sort of seeing once it dries if it has any consistency or strength. Then playing around with the art materials, starting off with the connector pen, I suppose you could say, and just trying out the colors, and as you can see, the black is useless. From there, playing around with a few other things like the biro pens and some pencils. Everything is really basic. The pencils mix well together, which is good to know, and also comparing a gradient between the black pencil and the grey lead. The grey lead obviously having a bit more of a shine, but all in all, just trying to gather a bit of a sense of how all of these things work and look together. Okay, so I've tested all my art supplies on my stationery here. First off, the clag. It's still like cold and clammy. It's holding this bit. The problem is it does alter the color and texture of the paper. The other problem is I have to work around using lined paper. The reality is, in school, I never really had sketchbooks. I did get printer paper and draw pictures on that sometimes, but usually I was forced to work with what I had at the time, and I would normally have notebooks in class. If anything, I want to see if I can use the lines that are on this paper to my advantage. I have no idea how. I still don't know what I'm going to do. So next, I'm going to play around with a few thumbnail sketches, come up with some ideas, and then just jump into something ambitious and hope for the best. Now comes the hard part, or should I say, the art part. Okay, I'll stop. Anyways, I started off by thumbnail sketching a few little ideas in my notebook to sort of figure out how I might use my notebook. I know I wanted to create something with a sense of depth and have some layers just to sort of use something to create some interest where the simple page of the lined notebook isn't very interesting. I thought if I work in some layers and maybe even create a multi-dimensional piece, it could make something mundane into something kind of cool. In the end, I settled with the idea of having a two-sided story of an escape from school. So jumping into the piece, I wanted to start off by building up a few simple layers of dirt. Now, these pencils don't get a very clean look, so as I go, I make sure to change the direction of my scribbly filled in lines, and this takes attention away from the fact that I'm not working with very good materials and just towards a more interesting texture, making each section darker than the last and outlining with the brown texture, and then also adding some areas of green so that when I layer them back together, we can create a bit of a built-up earthy aesthetic. Now I move on to splitting up a few pieces of paper and figuring out how some of the more intricate layers are going to come together. Starting off by outlining a school building, which will follow a bit of an isometric direction on an angled piece of paper, just so that we have a little bit more of a clean look rather than having lines go through in an odd direction in the middle of our building, and then creating a horizon piece of paper where the lines are going to be flipped in the opposite direction. You see, for most of our piece, the lines are going to be horizontally across the image, and I thought it could be cool and just sort of break the image up a little bit to have a horizon where the lines were vertical. So working with a piece of paper that I extracted, I created a really cool, colorful horizon using silhouettes and as much of a mix of the mediums as I could, and then likewise created a depiction of high school Jazza escaping. So with my pieces coming together, it's time to start constructing the first section of my image. Using my horrible goopy clag to stick layer to layer, starting off with the horizon and slowly building up the different layers of earth and grass that I'd built, with then the avatar character poking out between a few of the layers. Next, I move on to a few pages earlier, creating a scene that would unveil the scene that I'd just built. So I create a big classroom window similar to the ones on the outside of the building that I just drew, and sketch together a bit of a classroom scenario with some students wondering where their classmate has gone. Who knows? Now I wanted this aesthetic to differ from the outside aesthetic, the outside of course being very colourful with the pencils and the textures, whereas the inside aesthetic having all of the characters in black and white and the entire scene and classroom drawn mostly with the pencil and the biro. I kept the construction line of the pencils just because I thought it made it look more interesting and like a rough sketch inside of a notebook. With the classroom scene coming together, it's time to cut out the school windows, and on a piece of paper between that layer and the one behind, I cut out another slightly looser window shape. This isn't a perfect fit for the window on the layer on top, but it's just a little addition between the layers that I stick to the front page just to make sure that you can't see through a single layer to the coloured background behind. Last but not least, I fill in a hole dug at my desk leading to my escape. And it's a lesson of hindsight to not use texture on paper once you've put clag on the layer underneath, because it doesn't draw down very easily, but hey, you learn from your mistakes. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, I have finished my classwork masterwork. Oh, that rolls off the tongue. So here we have some students in their classroom. This is Sally and this is Tim. Just made that up just now. Hey, Tim, what's that over there? where did our classmate Jazza go? Tim says, oh, you mean that cool kid who draws all the really cool pictures, who has lots of friends? There's only a hole left where his seat was, and outside, ready the reveal. Oh, there he is, digging in the mud with his art supplies. He dug out of school. It's a victory, kids. He's too cool for school. There you go. This is a multifaceted artwork, and yet it's not to be interpreted literally. It is a metaphor for the escapism that art and creativity can provide, even when you're limited to your school art supplies. So kids, if you're heading off to school soon, why don't you give this school stationary art supply challenge a go, and if you can't do something like this, maybe try just cutting up your erasers into cool, fun little shapes. Your parents and teachers will be really proud of the results you come up with, and if they complain, just remind them that if this is the most extreme form of rebellion you're going to go through, they should consider themselves lucky. I hope you enjoyed this video, ladies and gentlemen, and the result, unfortunately, the clag seems to have leaked through here, and you can see the color go through. But hey, you know what? I think if this was my maths workbook, and this is what it was opened up to, I'd be pretty proud of that. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and of course, subscribe to Draw with Jazza for more fun with art and creativity. Leave some suggestions in the comment section if you want to maybe suggest some tricky art challenges you want to see me try. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you suckers later. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to see more of my videos. And while you're at it, check out my shop where I sell ebooks, brushes, photo references, video courses, and more. There's another video you might enjoy from my channel over there, and you can also check out my behind the scenes daily vlog channel, Daily Jazza. That's it for now, and until next time, I'll see you later.